Attacks can be sporadic. I'm like a drunken master without the drink spazzing. Jackie Chan on these punks who wanna rob. I'm turning supermarkets into scenes from Rumble in the Bronx. Throwing punches in bunches, every one of them landing. Accuracy's 100. I smash it with one punch, man.
Academy. So this is day 2 of journaling. Like I said, in my first vlog, we're going to focus on being consistent. And so, rather than having goals, I'm borrowing from James Clear, Atomic Habits, where he talks about having identity-based habits. He says instead of going to the gym, you want to replace that with having or living a healthy lifestyle. Or if you want to become a writer, you identify or base that habit off of, or that identity-based habit off of, I'm going to write. I'm going to be the kind of person who writes consistently every day. And so, in addition to, yes, of course, wanting to live a healthy lifestyle, but also having many goals and stuff that I want to do in between that. I mean, having things that I want to do on the way on this journey. So it's not so much as the destination, but it's the process that I'm attempting to fall in love with all over again. So, for example, I want to lose this gut, and that's not going to happen with inactivity. So one of the things that I plan on doing is there's this workout that I talked about in the last video where I did 12 burpees, 24 squats, 36 push-ups, and then I run 400 meters 4 times. I did that on the first vlog. So today, one of the workouts I want to do is called the Magic 50. And as you can see, I'm on my 3rd set, I believe. This would be my 3rd set. So it's 5. It technically is with a dumbbell. So it's 5 snatches with both hands, 10 swings, and then 10 burpees. And I do that 5 times, a minute in between each circuit for rest. So since I don't have the dumbbells because I'm not at the gym, I'm using the barbell. So I'm doing a barbell snatch. I'm doing the swings with the 45-pound plate, and then I'm doing the burpees just the same. So, I'm adapting, I'm adjusting, I'm working with what I have. So we're gonna get right into it because I'm probably like a minute over my rest period. So we're gonna get right into it. So this is my first time in a while doing the snatches, so I'm still working on my form. So I can, of course, look back on this and fix it.
I've seen it. Wait, Hannah, real quick. I have a quick question. Do we have any antiviral? I think that's it. All right. So I'm gonna rest a minute, and I think I lost track. It's either my 3rd or my 4th set. I don't know, but I got 5 to do. So I'm gonna rest a minute. Oh, and FYI, so I was having a conversation
about a couple months back about how we as men don't get physicals like we should and do our yearly checkups. And so I think a month or so ago, I went to get a checkup, got my blood work done, and it was said that I have high cholesterol. So they said I needed to exercise, I think 5 times a day, no, every day for 90 minutes. Well, it's just like, okay. And cut out the saturated fats. So now, again, as I emphasize, our mission is to educate, empower, and equip families through S.A.F.E training, self-defense awareness for families in every environment. So when it comes to this environment of your well-being and what you put into your body, if you're not aware of what's causing these chemical changes, your blood pressure rising, high cholesterol, et cetera, then you're doing yourself a disservice for you and for the people that depend on you. So that's why I'm out here, because my son is behind the camera, and when I work out, he sees what I do and he does the same thing. But it also extends to eating as well. It also extends to proper sleeping as well. It also extends to having positive people and positive energy around you. And that's how you defend what you love. That's how you defend who you love from the powers, the elements, the people that aren't for your best interests, the things that aren't for your best interests. I mean, Paul said everything, he can do everything, but it might not be good for him to do everything. He can do anything he wants, but it might not be good for him to do. So that's one of the things I'm checking with myself is there's a lot of things I can do in my day-to-day, in my life, but are they the right things for me to do? And that's a question you should ask yourself. If you're always busy and somehow you got it, you have yourself convinced in your mind that you never have enough time, then that's just poor time management, because everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. But I like the quote Jim Rome said. He said, it's not the amount of hours you put in, it's what you put into the hours. So if you work on becoming efficient, systematized, economical, you can find ways to do the work of 10 people in half the time that it would take 10 people to do that work in double the time. So that's where I'm aiming for. I'm not going to be out here for no 90 minutes. That's what, 2 hours, 16? No, it's like an hour and a half. No, but because of me researching and wanting to become aware and knowledgeable of my body, I look for workouts and things I could do when I don't have that amount of time to invest in working out for that long. So for 90 minutes, man, I got probably hundreds of workouts I can do in 15 minutes, 10 minutes, if I go hard enough, that I will get the equivalent of or even better than what I would do at a moderate pace in 90 minutes. So again, I'm way over my rest period time, but I think I got 2 more sets of these to do. I'll do it anyway just for good measure. Right now, there's a temptation not to finish it because I'm tired, I'm sweating. Oh, I already got started. I'll be good for the day. Or I can push myself into getting used to being uncomfortable, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and go ahead and finish those 1 or 2 sets. Even though I already started, I can say this is good enough. But then who am I fooling? Because I'm not measuring myself against anybody except what I did yesterday. I think that's the best measuring rod to use. I think you're a fool and you deceive yourself when you try to measure yourself compared to how other people work. Like for example, and I love using this analogy. If I play a shooting game, a video game for the first time, and you want it every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week. I know that's exaggerating, but you get my drift. And you're killing me. You're knocking me out every time I get in the game. Well, guess what? You got your reps in. This is my first time doing that. So compared to me, yeah, you seem like an expert. But go up against somebody who put the same amount of time you put in, if not more. There's going to be a whole different ball game. In fact, you might not even be able to measure up to that person. So we got to check what our measuring rods is, what our measuring bars is. If you measure your success based off of somebody else's downfall, then that's corny. Like you are not really successful. Like if you want to measure success, measure your success according to what you are created to do. That's the best way to put that. If you're looking at, okay, I got 1 million, he don't, I'm successful. I mean, in all honesty, that's a very low bar, because if that person had 1 million, y'all both got the same thing. So what measuring rod are you using to determine
if you're successful or better than that individual. So I choose to use myself as the measuring rod. I choose to use what did I do yesterday and how can I outdo my yesterday today. So, and sometimes that just may mean being consistent. I might scale back the workouts because my body's talking to me. That awareness kicks in and says, okay, you ache in some places, you might have to back off. But I don't stop. Or I stop in proportion to allow my body enough time to heal, then I hop right back into it. I mean, another motivation for that is being 40 years old and aching in places I never ached before. So I get what my father and my mom's were talking about when they're like, as you get older, and it start to rain, you start to get out of the bed, and before your feet hit the ground, you're like, oh, something in crack. I'm starting to feel that. So now I have to invest more time in maintenance on my body. And so I got to feed it that high test energy, just like you wouldn't put regular unleaded in a Lamborghini. So we can't do that same thing with ourselves. And another thing, I'm not going to make an excuse for myself to do that. You know how we have our cheat days, and I feel like that's just the opportunity to leave that door open so you don't hold yourself accountable to greatness. You know, now, hey, to each his own. If you want a cheat day, that's on you. I'm just saying what that open door allows access to. You'd be surprised at what could get in when you leave an open door, an unlocked window in areas of your life, in areas of your spiritual walk, in areas of your job, in areas in the way that you do things and operate. You'd be surprised when you allow a little slip, a little open door compromise, what that opens you up to. So my advice is don't make excuses for yourself. Don't give yourself that leeway with, oh, well, at least I did. Key word, that's the least you did. It wasn't your best. It wasn't the greatest. And then even in doing your best, did you do it with excellence? Did you give it everything you got? Again, it's not what you put, it's not the amount of hours you put in, it's what you put into the hours. It's not necessarily what you're doing, but it's the attitude in which you're doing it in. Was your attitude good? Was your attitude trash? Did you give it everything you got? Did you thoroughly research the thing that you're supposed to do? Did you do your homework? Did you do your research? Did you do your due diligence? If not, then okay, that bar, what you call success, is really very low. Because shoot, you can mop a floor, clean a toilet, and do that thing with the joy of the Lord. And guess what? You're doing that with a spirit of excellence, because that may be your field, or that may be what you're called to at that point in time. And you'd be surprised at what people walk into that your hands have been on, that you've had an opportunity to craft or be a part of, and they look at it and they see the glory of God in it because of everything you put in it. So, you know, I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm also doing it for that young man behind his camera and my other 3 children in that room, in the house, and anybody else that will see this video. Measure your success according to what God called you to do, not what somebody else is doing. Because I promise you, you'll frustrate yourself. I promise you, you'll be discouraged and you'll stop, and you'll just be trying to chase after a false version of yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with aspiring to want to do something the way a person does it, but don't necessarily aspire to be that person and all that encompasses. You understand? Be who God has called you to be, but yes, aspire to take on some of those character traits of discipline, consistency, integrity, uh, dedication. Yes, take on those principles and those character traits, but be comfortable in your skin and who you are, and with your strength and with your weaknesses, so that way when other people look to you, you're not pointing them towards you to be like you, you're pointing them to be more like Christ. You understand? But that's enough of my rant. I then extended my break for like another 3 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock out this last set. So this is Daryl Dixon Jr., Dixon Self Defense Academy, day 2 of my vlog on my journey to living a healthy lifestyle and getting back to it. All right.